This is Mungo Dark Matter, and welcome to Dark Matters. Today on Dark Matters, I'm going to show you how to load a Windows 8 release preview on a virtual machine. Now, Windows 8 release preview is a demo version of Windows 8, and a virtual machine is a program that you can run on a computer that acts like a separate piece of hardware so that you can load another operating system within your operating system and try out the operating system or use it for certain tasks that you may need to use it for. The Windows 8 release preview version is basically so you can see what Windows 8 will look like and how it functions. There are going to be some differences between the release preview and the final version. But it should give you a pretty good idea of how the new interface works in some of the things about Windows 8 to give you a chance to look and learn about Windows 8 and decide if you want to move to Windows 8. And we'll talk more about Windows 8 in other videos. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get the copy of Windows 8 release preview. And I will put a link to this page in the description of this video, but you can also just type Windows 8 release preview into Google and find the page. I'm going to hit this button here. It says get now, and it's going to take me to the page where the ISO images are. The ISO images are basically copies of DVDs in this case, sometimes they're CDs, that you can take the file and burn your own DVD or burn your own CD. There are two versions here, the 64-bit and the 32-bit version of the Windows 8 release preview. I'm going to download the 32-bit. I've actually already downloaded it. In order to download the 64-bit, you need to be running at least Windows 64-bit version 7 or another 64-bit operating system. However, if you have a 64-bit operating system, you can also run the 32-bit. So I'm going to just run the 32-bit since it's just a demo, and I'm not that concerned about it running a little faster or running certain programs a little faster. So basically, I've already downloaded this. You would just click on here to download it, and it's going to ask you where you want to save it. So the next thing is you're going to need a program that's going to create the virtual machine. Now, Microsoft used to and still gives away a program called Virtual PC. You cannot use that to run Windows 8 release preview. It doesn't support it. However, Microsoft Hyper-V does support Windows 8. Unfortunately, you cannot install Hyper-V on Windows 7. So we're going to go to a Microsoft competitor. Don't tell anyone. www.virtualbox.org. I'll put that link in the description of the video too. It's a program called VirtualBox, which Oracle puts out for free. I believe it's an open source program. I just used it for the first time the other day, and it works really well, and I've used a lot of other virtual machines, including VMware, which also runs well. But this is free, and really you don't want to have to spend money to put a virtual machine out if you're just testing something, unless you do it a lot and there's some features of the commercial software that you like. But the VirtualBox seems to work really great, and well, we'll see that in a minute. We're going to go to downloads here, and you're going to find your version. In my case, I'm running Windows. If you were running another operating system, they have it in for Macintosh and Linux and Solaris. So I'm going to just download this version right here, which should be, let me save it there, the version for Windows 7. Not a huge program, and it's pretty easy to set up. Alright, after the program is downloaded, I'll just click on Run and run it. And relatively easy to install. First thing here, we just go Next. I'm going to go Next. I'm not going to set up anything custom on it. I'm just going to accept all the defaults. I'm going to go Yes, and I'm going to go Install. And it will take a minute for it to install. Alright, and after it finishes installing, it has a Finish button right here, and it has checked off Start Oracle VM VirtualBox 4.2 after installation, and we're going to go ahead and do that. Reduce the size of these boxes, and it should pop up here in a second. Okay, once you install the VirtualBox software, start it up, and you'll be taken to the Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager. And it will look like this the first time you use it. We're going to click on this button here that says New, and we're going to name this virtual machine Windows 8 Release Preview. That way if you install later a regular version of Windows 8 or a different version of Windows 8 on here, you'll know that this was the preview and not the actual version. Type it's Microsoft Windows. You have other operating systems here if you want to try those out. VirtualBox is very nice about that. The reason you want to set these things is it will help you set up the minimum requirements for the virtual machine for any operating system you use. So we're going to go down to version, and we're going to look for Windows 8. There's two Windows 8 here. We're going to install the one that just says Windows 8 and not the one that says Windows 8 64-bit, because they have different requirements. I don't have real high expectations for this particular virtual machine, since I'm just really looking more at how Windows 8 is laid out and what the new interface is like. And so I'm not optimizing it necessarily. I'm just trying to get by with the least amount of resources I can use currently. We're going to click Next here. Now, depending on how much memory you have, you can add more memory to your virtual machine, but remember, it's going to take it away from your actual machine, so if you're running other things at the same time. Windows 8 will run on a minimum of 1 gigabyte of RAM on 32-bit version, so that's what it's defaulted to here. I'm going to keep that default for now. Then I'm going to create a virtual hard drive now while I'm at it. I'm going to use a VirtualBox disk image. Okay, next. I'm going to have it dynamically allocated and see what happens. A fixed sized virtual disk is going to have better performance on it, but once again, I'm not real concerned about the performance on this virtual machine, because I'm using it for test purposes, not for production. And I'm going to leave the default virtual hard drive as 25 gigabits or gigabytes. Create. Alright, here's our initial virtual machine and the settings on it. I'm going to hit this green arrow, which is the start button, and it should start up the virtual machine. Here's a message warning you that the virtual machine will capture your keyboard and mouse strokes. If you hit the right control, it will free your mouse from the screen. So I'm going to just hit OK on there. Virtual drive, host disk. I can go with that. Now, it didn't find the boot media. Why is that? Well, I have not burned a DVD of the install program. I could do that, and it would have found it automatically in the DVD drive. But I'm going to go to here to Devices and go to CD DVD Devices, and I'm going to pick Choose a Virtual CD DVD Disk File. If I click on that, I can go in, and I'm going to go to Drive C to a folder called Windows 8 Preview, and that's where I downloaded the ISO image of the 32-bit version of Windows 8 Release Preview. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go Open. So now it should find that. I'm going to go up here to Machine and go Reset. Has just a little warning here again about capturing the keyboard. Make sure when you initially start up your virtual machine, if you get any other error messages, read what they are, and it may tell you need to do one thing or another. I'm going to ignore this message here because I've got that before. This is the setup for Windows 8. Let's see, English language, currency English, keyboard type. This is all okay. We're going to just hit Next here, and we're going to click on Install Now. Alright, it's going to ask for a product key to activate Windows. And I'm going to go back to the page where we downloaded the ISO images, and there's a product key right down here. So I'm going to see if I can copy that into there. Well, it won't let me copy it into there, so I'm going to have to type it into there. Alright, once I type in the product key that I got from the Windows 8 Release Preview download page, I'm going to hit Next. I'm going to get OK the license terms. Custom install right there. This is a virtual drive here. I'm going to click Next. And it's going to load Windows 8 onto my virtual drive for me. And it's going to run through each one of these items on this list here. So I will come back once this is done doing its thing, because pretty much from here, from this point, there's not a lot to do for a while because it's just loading the files. Okay, once Windows finishes loading the files and setting up Windows, it's going to reboot, and it's going to start to go through a setup wizard and ask you some questions. So I'm going to just follow through these questions here. Wants to know what I want to name the PC, and I'm going to just name it Virtual 8. You can kind of pick your color schemes up here if you want to change them. Has various defaults. I'm going to just put it back onto the default right there, and hit Next. And you can go through, use Express settings, or you can customize. So I'm going to use Express settings for this. And I'm going to, I want you to set up a Microsoft account to sign in, but I'm going to go sign in without a Microsoft account. And click on Local Account. And we'll just sign in Mungo. Put a password in. You can put a password hint down here. Oops. Oh, they didn't match. Put no hints. I don't really have a hint I want to put for this particular installation. Alright, and it's going through the final stages of setting up the PC. Or it's not in this case the virtual PC. Okay, here's the start menu in Windows 8. It's called Metro, the interface is, and it's the new interface. And the idea is that it will work really well on touch screen type computers like touchpads and smartphones and the like. You can get back to your traditional desktop by clicking on this square here that says desktop. You can still right click on the desktop and get some menu choices. For example, let's go here and go personalize, change desktop icons. I'm going to say put computer, users, network, control panel, and go OK. And you can copy other icons to the desktop as you want. One problem with this new interface is there is no start menu button down here. It takes you to the start page. Instead, there's a little thing here you can click on. And so you're back. We'll go back to the desktop. So you may want to play around with Windows 8 once you find this. You can load some other applications on here if you want to and see what it's like, see how the interface works. This gets you back to your desktop. If you hit the Windows key, it will bring you back to the start page. I'm not real thrilled about the start page or learning a new kind of system to access all this stuff. I mean, it's fine for tablet PCs, I think. But when you're using a desktop PC with a mouse, I'm a little bit skeptical that this interface will catch on at all. I'm Mungo Dark Matter, and this has been Dark Matters, and whatever you do, enjoy technology.